Good morning, Washington. How you doing? This is Big Dave here on DCRTV.com for the 3rd of October, 2011. 3rd of Rocktober. Monday. And guess what? I don't think it's raining. It isn't raining. There's been a low pressure stuck over us for like 3 weeks, bringing rain and cold and damp and humidity, and it's just still going to be here for another day or two. But at the moment, it's not raining. So what did I find on my post on my front door this morning? I found this, a little bag. What's in this little green bag that was tied so neatly to protect it from the rain? Let's see. Oh my God, look. It's the TV week from the Washington Post. Woohoo! Well, yesterday, Sunday, I usually get the TV week with my Washington Post. I pay an extra, 15 cents a week for it. That's hard-earned money. And it usually comes, but it didn't come. So I got on the website and entered my WashingtonPost.com and I entered my password and all that, and I said my paper didn't come completely, and I clicked on the little logo for the Washington Post TV magazine. And then, so usually when that happens, they bring it out with Monday's paper, because it does happen every now and then. But Monday's paper came, and there was no TV week, so I did it again. I said, hey, I didn't get it on Sunday. It didn't come on Monday. So a couple hours later, I heard someone at the door, went down and found the bag, and there it is. So, you know, have to hand it to my carrier. He did bring me my TV week, so I can now find all the cool shows on all the channels. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. All right, folks. What about we got a lot of Washington Post news today. Let's try a few things. The biggest one, I guess, is this thing here. You know, I've long complained about the Post making mistakes in the print edition. Well, if you look here, here's an obit. Oh, wait. Here's an obit. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. GOP fundraiser, Peter, and I'm not even going to try it. Peter Turpeluk. But if you look at the top here, where the picture of Mr. Turpeluk should be, that ain't Mr. Turpeluk. And a number of people emailed me yesterday on the DCRTV mailbag and said, that ain't Mr. Turpeluk. That's Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, who is, of course, still a Supreme Court Justice and still very much with us. So anyhow, everyone's wondering, why are they posting a picture of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia with the obit of this GOP fundraiser? Well, if you go in today's paper, let's see, today's Washington Post, wherever it says. Oh, here it is. They run a little correction. It says, we're sorry. We made another dumb mistake. The photo accompanying the October 2 obituary of Peter Turpeluk Jr., a Republican Party fundraiser and former ambassador to Luxembourg, was inadvertently cropped to show U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia instead of Mr. Turpeluk. The correct image appears above. So there's what Mr. Turpeluk really looks like. Just another dumb mistake. You know, so they got a photo that had Antonin Scalia staying next to Mr. Turpeluk, and some idiot cropped the wrong image on it. I guess they didn't know what Antonin Scalia looked like. They didn't bother to check. Lots of dumb little mistakes like that in the Post. What do we got here? Oh, this was funny. I thought this was kind of funny. Here's an obit in today's paper. See that? Vincent E. Price. No, not that Vincent Price. A physician and biochemist for the National Institute of General Medical Sciences. That's funny. You know, go through your life with it. My name is Vincent Price. And another thing, one of my pet peeves about the Washington Post, October is off to an unsettling start. Okay, nice little article here about how it's chilly and cold and damp here in the beginning of October in the D.C. area. You know, it's not a bad piece. It's, you know, da-da-da-da-da. But, you know, they need a meteorologist expert to talk to for this. You know, this author, his name is Stephen Hendricks. He needs someone to talk to, a meteorologist, to get some background about why it's so cold. Who does he go to? Why he goes to Jason Samanal, the Washington Post meteorologist. That's who they quote in here. You know, if you're doing an article for the Washington Post, let's you know, it's lazy to quote only people that work for the Post. I mean, come on. You know, just call Howie Bernstein, call Topper Shutt, call Sue Palka, call someone at the National Weather, call him AccuWeather guy, there's so many people in the Washington area that are meteorologists that work for TV stations. Doug, come on, you know, it just seems lazy. You know, why, if you're doing an article for the Washington Post, don't use people in the Washington Post as your sources, okay? Unless it's really, really necessary, like, you know, like Paul Farhi were to do some hideous crime and you want to comment from Paul Farhi. Okay, that makes sense. But, you know, to do an article on rain and cold weather and all that stuff, and then to only, you know, to quote somebody who works at the Washington Post as an expert. Well, I'm not saying Jason Semino isn't a good meteorologist. I'm sure he is. I do read the Capital Weather Gang all the time. But, you know, it's just lazy at a major newspaper. The Post is doing so many things that look lazy and stupid. Yeah. Now, not one of my favorite blogs is not Fishbowl DC, because I think it basically is a piece of crap, but an interesting little piece here today. And Betsy Rothstein kind of, you know, notes the same thing I note, you know, and I got to refocus this thing, right? I don't know, man. I can't do it. Focusy, schmocusy. Basically, why Washington gossip sucks. You know, she just does these silly little things. But this is an interesting little piece. Why should Washingtonians care about Kiss's Gene Simmons marrying centerfold Shannon tweeted as anyone's guess. Yet another shining vanilla-flavored example of why the Washington Post's reliable sources is the city's premier gossip column. The writers aggregated the item from People. Okay, I've often said that the Washington Post's reliable source gals are the best rewrite gals on the media scene. They do a lot of aggregation. They do a lot of, you know, rewriting stuff. You know, and you know, okay, that's okay if you're doing like a generic little column. But if you're doing your own column like that, you know, that's lazy. Lazy. More reasons why the Post has become a mediocre newspaper. What am I doing here? Do I have some more? I'm disorganized. I may be disorganized. Anyhow, what the hell? So that's that. Okay, interesting thing here at WMAL this morning. Interesting thing. Turn on WMAL this morning, 105.9 and 6:30. And, okay, Mary Catherine Ham is missing. She's on vacation or ill or whatever. Brian Neiman is also missing. That's 2 of the 3 people in the Washington Post, in the WMAL's morning show missing. It's only Brian Wilson there. All right, that's okay. And then you listen to the next show, and Chris Plant is missing. That's 3 people on WMAL's morning 2 shows that are missing this morning. I guess maybe there's a flu going around. Maybe they all got food poisoning from they ate the same cupcakes on Friday. I don't know. It just seems weird. We're hearing an awful lot of rumors about a lot of cuts going on at the new Cumulus cluster in Washington, which is WRQX, Mix 107.3, and WMAL. A lot of rumors about cuts. And you're wondering if they're just not testing out things. They're saying, you know, maybe we could get rid of Mary Catherine. Maybe we could get rid of Brian Neiman. Maybe we could bring Major Garrett. You know, Major Garrett, who I like a lot. I like Major Garrett. I think he's great. He's great on television. He's great on the radio. He's wonderful on the radio. I think Major Garrett teamed up with Brian Wilson would be a terrific morning show. Okay? I think that would be a home run. Boom! Knocked out of the park. And they did that this morning, and it sounded great. You know, Mary Catherine Ham, you know, I don't know. She's kind of a parochial dingbat. WMAL, she can't even say W's right. She does these stupid commercials where she sings things. It just makes her look like an idiot. You know, I don't know. She's just kind of a stamped out carbon copy GOPer, and there's nothing special about her other than she's good looking. You know, I don't know. I like Brian Neiman a lot, but again, I think Brian Neiman's too much of a nice guy for the cutthroat world of the new Cumulus. Now, I've heard from some WMAL insiders who say, no, Brian's going to be there, and Mary Catherine's going to be there, and Brian Wilson's going to be there, and that's their dyed-in-the-wool show, and it's not going to change, and that may be true. But I have to think those Cumulus people are thinking, what are we going to do here? Now, Chris Plant missing from the next show. Chris Plant does 9 to noon. I think he's an idiot, okay? I know there are some smart conservatives and there's some stupid conservatives. I think he's a stupid conservative. But anyhow, the other interesting thing right now is that Glenn Beck, big old Glenn Beck, who does a 9 to noon show syndicated around the country, Glenn Beck's D.C. station ain't there no more. I mean, he's not on his station. Glenn Beck was on 1260 WWRC, which is a Salem station. And all of a sudden we hear that Glenn Beck is no longer on that station, which means probably that Glenn Beck is going to move somewhere else. So where's Glenn Beck going to go? Well, I guess he could go to 730, the new WTNT. I guess he could go to PGC, the 1580, the big talker. But, it just fills my head. What if Cumulus wants to make some cuts in Washington? Cut Chris Plant. Hey, that's one less local salary we have to pay. And they could put Glenn Beck, slide him right into that 9 to noon slot. Glenn Beck would love to be on in D.C. on FM and AM like that, a killer signal. I don't know. It just, it hasn't happened. It may not happen, but it just seems like the stars are aligning a certain way. Something's happening at MAL. The next shoe's going to be dropping, and we're on it. We're right on it. All right, folks, they hit the 11-minute mark. Don't want to go too long today. Thanks for watching Dave TV for Monday, October 3rd, 2011. Stay tuned and cut. Pray!